Hi, everybody. Let me just start by saying thank you so much for your support over this past week. I believe it's been since the website launched. All of the feedback on the site, design, and on Brave and all this other stuff has been really, really affirming. And I'm pretty pumped, to say the least, about a lot of things. Things that I will, divulge later on. Is that a word? I think it is, but that I'll share with you later on. This week I was with a friend and she asked me, okay, Liz, so why the Sparrow's View? And she was asking me, why is it that I had chosen to name my ministry, if you will, the Sparrow's View? And I realized I actually hadn't communicated that with anybody, so I'm going to do that right now. It doesn't have anything to do with a fascination with birds. I actually don't even like birds. They scare me. They have weird eyes, and that beak situation really frustrates me. So it has nothing to do with any kind of fascination with birds. What it has to do with is my walk with Christ over this past year and a half, 2 years, where God has really just been dealing with me on perspective and learning to change my perspective in the way that I view different seasons and situations in my life. There will always be times where the things that are happening around us are not within our control. And I think it was, I can't remember who said it, but they said, what's the point in losing your peace and becoming anxious over something that you can't change? So if I can't change the situation, what is it that I can change? I can change the way that I view it. And so that's what God's just kind of been dealing with me on is how do I renew my mind so that I can have a healthy perspective towards the situations that I am in my life? How do I guard my heart so that I'm able to find contentment and have joy and peace during these different circumstances and whatnot? So that's what God's been dealing with me on. And there was a chapel service in college like 2 years ago where I was overwhelmed. I was going through a lot of transition, having to make a lot of big decisions, and I did not know what to do. And Brian and Jen Johnson from Bethel were there, and they were singing, God, I look to you. And there's a line that says, God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. So I'm there with my eyes closed and my hands raised. And I'm like, Lord, I need to see things the way that you do. God, change my vision. Give me perspective. And in that moment, I remember he lifted me and I had a bird's eye view of my situation. And I could see the big picture. And God was just telling me, I haven't failed you yet. I'm not going to fail you now. And he filled me with his joy and his love and his peace and everything. And I had renewed perspective on the big picture. And by the big picture, I mean my life and where God is taking me in the direction that we're going. And it was so good, so incredibly refreshing. So the Sparrow's View, it's kind of like a creative name, Sparrow's View, but it also has to do with my attempt to share with people the perspective changing revelations that God has given me over the past 2 years, and hoping that I can help you to lift your perspective or to always keep the big picture in mind and remember that every little thing that happens, that in all of his ways, God is good. And when we live a life that's surrendered to him, everything is just working together for our good and working together for that bigger picture and for that thing that he's called us to. So that is what the Sparrow's View is about. That's where that comes from. Enjoy. Bye. Stop.